Husbands of Reddit, what was your I'm so gonna marry this girl moment? She was driving us back from a great camping trip with friends. My mind was wandering and I thought, I wish I could do rad shit like this with her forever. Then I thought, that sounds like a marriage. Hey. I looked over at her, she glanced at me and smiled back. I then put together a plan. I asked her to live with me in 6 months when her lease is up. After a year, if shit is still good, I'll ask her to marry me. I did exactly that. We've been married 4 years and have an 8-month-old. First road trip together. We stopped for food and I ordered multiple cheeseburgers. I was driving, and without being asked she unwrapped and handed me my burger. As soon as one was done she had another one ready. I realized then that some people are genuinely considerate and kind. Also the first time she called someone a dundbag. Now that truly is beautiful. Who cutting down ants? Sniffle. She went to hop on the bed, miscalculated how springy it was, bounced off and got stuck between the bed and the bedside table. Upside down, legs flailing in the air. She couldn't free herself, and I was too incapacitated with laughter to help her for a good 5 minutes. This is the best one. She was spending the night at my place and woke up about 3 AM in severe discomfort. Over an hour she started to hurt worse, so I took her to the ER. At the ER, she was screaming in pain, but they wouldn't give her any pain meds without first doing a pregnancy test. Of course she went to the bathroom while I was registering her, so she didn't have anything to give. It was while she was in the room in the ER, miserable in pain, and waiting for the pain meds to kick in that I realized I really cared for her and wanted to make our relationship more permanent. It turned out that she was having a kidney stone and not an alien chest burster. She struggled with that problem for years until we find the cause. Bonus, I met her mother for the first time that morning. On one hand I hate the circumstances, but on the other I'm glad I was able to show I could take care of her daughter. Edit. In a strange Reddit twist, my most upvoted comment is about how much I love my wife. Today happens to be her birthday, so please help me wish her a happy birthday. My husband described his kidney stone pain as an alien trying to burst out of him as well. Interesting. We had only been dating for 3 months, so still some awkwardness here and there. I was working an outrageous amount, and I got phone call that one of my very good friends had just died in a car accident. I don't really remember walking there, but instead of my apartment, I ended up at hers. She opened the door to her new boyfriend, half ugly, sobbing. Instead of being, rightly, weirded out, she listened and cried with me for a couple hours. The friend who died was the one who had encouraged me, for like 6 months, to ask my now wife out. My friend never knew the impact she had. My wife and I have been married for 8 years now. Wow, that's some serious stuff. Congrats on your marriage to a great partner. Thanks. It isn't easy, but damn it, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Lost my car in a parking garage after I bungled the night by forgetting my wallet on a fairly expensive Italian dinner date. I was embarrassed and mortified. I just wanted to cut my losses and get home. I was really trying to impress her, and literally anything that could go wrong did. To cap the night off, I forgot where I parked my car because I was flustered from everything that had gone wrong. After 20 minutes or so of me running around this parking garage, going level to level, running hand in hand, I could feel her glare and annoyment on the back of my neck. It was growing. I could feel her quietly thinking, well, this was the worst date I've ever been on. The humiliation finally overcame me, and I stopped and turned around. Maybe to apologize profusely, I don't know, still don't know. I was preparing myself for that look on her face. She was smiling. She started to laugh, not at me, but with me, without me, almost inviting me to laugh with her about this poor bastard's luck. A large wave of relief washed over the dreadful evening. We stood there on level 2 of the Newport on the levee parking garage just laughing. I knew at that precise moment that I wanted to marry her. 6 years later, we are married with 2 kids. When we gave our vows, we both unknowingly had written of that exact night in Newport and that exact moment. I think perhaps for me, I had fallen in love before, but with her, I never wanted to fall in love again. 4th date. She invites me up to her apartment for some swooning. Upon entering, I'm in or that her Star Wars Lego collection was bigger than mine. I knew right then and there. We were playing Trivial Pursuit with friends, and we're in a team together. The question we got was who was the 26th president of the United States? I figured it was my chance to impress her by counting off all the presidents in order to count to 26. So I started. She jumped right in with me and got up to Teddy Roosevelt faster than I did. It was the perfect realization that her nerdiness and personality matched up perfectly with my own. When we got married, we had a picture of Teddy Roosevelt on our table at the reception. I'm kind of the opposite. My fiance's trivia expertise is in the opposite areas from mine, thus making us an unstoppable force at pub quiz. Had to lock that down to ensure continued trivia domination. I was working on commercial fishing vessels at the time and couldn't watch the NHL playoffs, so she watched the games and texted me updates a couple times a night about who scored and won, etc. She learned the rules of hockey for me. That was the moment, and she got pregnant. Edit, I'm not Canadian. That was the moment you decided to get her pregnant, or that was a consequence of marriage? Lol. Learning hockey was the moment I wanted to marry her. Getting pregnant just sped up the process. When I was 16, an insanely hot girl messaged me on MySpace. Yeah, I know, because we had mutual friends, and she thought I was cute. We hit it off, started dating, and a few months later I left her in Texas to go on a trip with my family to see my grandparents in Indiana. It was the first time we'd been apart for more than a day or two since we'd been together, and the separation was brutal for a pair of teenage lovebirds. We spent almost every night of that trip talking on the phone until 3 or 4 AM, laughing, telling each other secrets, and sharing our hopes and fears for the future. She was brilliant. Talking to her simultaneously felt like I was going on a big adventure, and I'd found my way home all at the same time. That was the first time I'd ever felt like every minute spent away from her was a complete waste of time, and that feeling never really went away. We've been together 12 years now, and just celebrated our 7th wedding anniversary. Sometimes you get it right on the first try, folks. She traveled 2 hours by bus and train to see me on my half-an-hour lunch break. We are due to be married in 3 weeks. Mine was when I imagined what it would be like to not have my then girlfriend around. It was an eye-opener. I suddenly realized how precious she had become to me. It made me see how much I loved her and how great we worked together. We've been married almost 8 years and are going strong. Her boss messaged me to tell me she knew when my at-time girlfriend was texting me opposed to anyone else because she would be smiling. Then her mother told me the same thing a few days later, smiley face. Edit, her now ex-boss is a good friend of ours and was at the wedding. That's super cute, but also what a weird thing for her boss to message you. Being with her was, and has been, going on 20 years in 2018, effortless. There was no drama, no having to explain my jokes, my references. She was as nerdy as I was and am. It just occurred to me that we should marry. So I started saying in conversation, when we get married. Almost 20 years later, we've been married almost 18 years. We are still very passionately in love, and it just keeps getting better. My girl's a real looker and I know she way out of my league. Some years back some other girl turned around to her on a night out and said, "What are you doing with him?" She responded, "I love him." Jet in wifed. As told to me by my husband. We hadn't been dating for very long, and he had gotten sick. So I raided the pantry and brought him every sort of sick food imaginable. Ramen, chicken soup, saltine crackers, Gatorade. The whole works. Apparently no girlfriend had ever done that for him before, and he realized that we were legit. Little did he know that I had ulterior motives and was hoping I'd get some D for being a nice girlfriend, but alas, he was too sick. We did cuddle and watch movies though, so that was nice. Sometimes when you know, you just know. Halloween one year, we went to a fall festival and it turned out to be pretty lame. So we came home to just chill and watch Netflix. We settled into the couch and she just leaned on me and grabbed my arm. In that moment I thought, yay, I could see myself with her for the rest of my life. We got married a bit over a month ago